Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm at Riverside Transport Museum in Glasgow, and you know what? I'm not too keen on it. Let me explain. So here we are inside the Riverside Museum, just in Partick. And you've got to admit, some of these exhibits are absolutely amazing. Look at this. You're probably wondering why I don't like this place. Well, I'll tell you a bit later on. Who remembers being on these trams? Maybe not so much that one. Horse-drawn, that's going back quite a bit. This is a beauty. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? So they've recreated this street, a Glasgow street, complete with tram tracks. And it is very nice, don't get me wrong. Look up there. Reproduce some of the tenement buildings up above the shops. Why is it I don't like it? You're probably wondering. Anybody ever been a cabinet maker? The subway. Let's have a look at the subway. A mock-up of the subway. There it is. Oh, look at this. Who remembers being on these? Do you remember being on these old subway trains? Look at that wood. Absolutely beautiful. Look at all the attention to detail they had back in the day. Trains are nice and modern and electric and all that now, but they don't have the charisma, the character that they had back in those days. Do you think so? Here we are in another underground. Remember these seats? Maybe you sat in this one. No spitting, remember?
That's what I said to her.
Get your tickets.
Cheers.
Cheers. Ticket. Your ticket, son. Ticket. Where are you going? Hey, leave him alone. He's a long way from home, right? There you go.
You fed him, bro?
It's alright, pal. You wouldn't be here if you weren't on our side.
What, are you Polish?
Celtic or Rangers?
Never mind him, it's an old joke. See you later then, pal.
Do you know anyone here?
You can try the Clarion Scouts. There's plenty of folk there.
You'd like it? We're going for a walk this weekend.
We're on this tram, Kirklee via Charing Cross. Look through here. Does this bring back memories? Up the stairs. It's funny, as I'm going about the museum here, there's some things here on exhibit that I still, in my mind, think is modern. Let's go in here. Record shop. Records seem to be making a comeback though, don't they? This is not so much nostalgia anymore. Yeah, I was thinking about that Star Wars exhibit there. To me, that's modern. But I mean, Star Wars was out in 1977. There it is, the Kirklee via Charing Cross. Tell me if you were ever on that. Look at this beautiful bus. Beautiful colours in the livery back in those days, eh? What about this? We're here on the Moss Park via Pollock Shields tram. Let's have a look.
The best time to travel the bottleneck was at night, when the lighting was superb. They had a lighting level many times that of the standard cars. The best time to travel on the upper deck would be in a sunny day, when you went up the staircase, and here you're in this light, airy saloon with glass panels on the roof and panoramic windows, with a commanding view of the passing sea. It was like being in a greenhouse. It was wonderful.
Maybe you were pushed along in one of these big Silver Cross prams. I think that's a Silver Cross. It's an absolute beauty. There you are, ladies. Do you remember these prams? I remember actually being in one of these prams. My mum had to pull the pram up 3 flights of stairs because we lived at the top of a tenement. Look at these. Absolutely beautiful. The less said about those kind of cars, the better. But still, a beautiful vehicle, isn't it? Look at that. Absolutely amazing. Where's he been? Sky, sky, sky. Inverness. Absolute beauty, this, eh? There's your wee seat. Everything's all covered in perspex, so can't be broken. And there it is. The old metro cabs.
Yeah.
A Talbot. Did you ever drive one of these? Let's see the back. Absolutely beautiful. Oh, you can't beat these old buses. Let's go in, quick, bus is going. We used to be able to run and jump on the bus as it was driving away. This tram's going to Duntokar. I mean, look at all that workmanship down there. Tremendous. So if you've maybe watched some of my previous videos, you'll notice that I'm quite into the old buses. I'm actually a member of GVVT, which is Glasgow Vintage Vehicle Trust, and throughout the year they run different open days for families to come along, look at the old buses, the old cars. Sometimes they have events on. It's a great day out. If you and your family live in Glasgow, you might want to come along to some of the events. You just go onto the website at GVVT. Look at that, New City Road, Stockwell, Cathcart Road. Were you on that tram? I'd love to hear your memories. Oh dear. I don't want to hear memories of that. Good memories. Look at the size of this steam train. Absolutely beautiful. Did you have a sunbeam? The size of this boat. Amazing. So you might be wondering why I don't like this place. Well, that's not exactly true. I don't not like it. I love the exhibits. It's just the building. And you know why? The building doesn't have nostalgic memories for me. The exhibits do, but not the buildings. Because you see, this is the third location for Glasgow's Transport Museum. Look at these beautiful models of ships. Now this is what I remember my dad taking me to see. The models of the ships, but it wasn't in here. So let me tell you, this is the third location of the Transport Museum. This place, the Riverside Museum, opened in 2011. Previous to that, the Transport Museum was in the Kelvin Hall. And it was in the Kelvin Hall from 1988 until 2010. But it's prior to that I remember. And that was in Albert Drive in Pollokshields. Who remembers it when it was in Albert Drive? It opened then in 1964. You see, the trams stopped running in 1962. There was a big procession throughout the city, the final day of all the trams. And then they decided, the Glasgow City Council decided they needed to exhibit all of the trams and all the old vehicles, the collections that they had. So the Transport Museum in Albert Drive was opened in 1964, and that's the one that I remember my dad taking me along to. Look at these beautiful cars. I mean, they're absolutely huge. Don't know if the camera's doing this justice, but that is huge. My car's about half the length of that. Do you remember these? This was your mobility car, and this was the colour you got it in. Three-wheeler. Look at all these cars. See, this is what I don't like about this museum. Look at these cars about 40 feet in the air. How are you supposed to see them properly? You're not really. You know what I mean? Oh, I've just spotted something. Oh. Who agrees that this was the best bike ever made? And I mean ever made. I had a rally chopper, mine was red. Oh, what a bike. That just invokes tons of memories to me. Did you have a rally chopper? Or what was your favourite bike?
The saddle and the
absolutely beautiful.
But it had a small white strip attached.
So I also loved the Kelvin Hall. I used to go to the Kelvin Hall a lot. If I had some downtime, I would nick into the Kelvin Hall. I loved going up the old street. It just seemed more real than the one here. The one here, although they've made it look like an old street, it just has a modern feel about it. I mean, I don't know. What's your thoughts? What was your favourite transport museum? Albert Drive, Kelvin Hall, or here at Riverside? Let's have a look at the Citroen 2CV. Yes, exactly. Beautiful, eh? Let's go outside and have a look at the tall ship while we're here. It's actually closed at the moment, blocked off. Must be getting some work done. No, that's it over there. That's a tea room in there, incidentally, the cafe. If you fancy a little snack while you're here. So if you come up the stairs, you're into the Clyde boat room, ships, all the models, all through the glass. Sorry for the reflections. So I was talking to a lady outside, off camera, and she completely agrees with me that this place has lost a lot of the nostalgia, the feeling of the museum when it was in Kelvin Hall. It's out of order. I think they usually move around on a pulley, more lights so you can see them, but out of order, typical. If you had the ability to travel back in time and relive just one day of your life, what day would you choose? Not to change anything, just to relive it all over again. Perhaps you remember being on the trams, maybe with your mum and dad, or maybe with your gran and grandpa. Or maybe you remember a wonderful day trip on a boat, cruising down the Clyde, or aboard a huge ship, sailing across the Atlantic Ocean, with family or friends that may now be gone. Gone, but not forgotten. Or maybe your father or grandfather owned one of these beautiful old cars. Our memories are like a tin of old photographs, which we open every now and again and delve into, to relive in our mind's eye our most precious moments in time. I'd love to hear yours. Did you ever used to ride one of these wooden bikes? I'm only kidding. The post office motorbike. And this is my favourite boat of all, Noah's Ark. That reminds me of Billy Connolly. Did he not drive one of these on one of his road trips? Do you ever remember driving one of these? Again, I'm only kidding. Absolutely gorgeous. So nice. Let's go upstairs. Look at that. This was the seats. Let me see, I'll look through here. These were the seats you could move the back. You moved the back that way forward, and then you could face coming the other way. You know what I mean? You could face each way, if you know what I mean. The back of the seat was on a pivot, kind of lever. And this looks like the posh seats. First class. And second class. So does this bring back some memories for you? Or is this like, nah, not for me? It's too modern. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's great that Glasgow has this. Sorry, I'm walking round. It's got all the shops as well, you can go in. Hello there, sir. I'm in to get my photographs developed. Wow. Very dark in here. I wonder why. Of course, old cafes have played a massive part in Glasgow for the community meeting up. Let's have a look inside this one.
Cobbled Italian street, taken around 1900. The tall buildings in no way the street is flat, and in the narrow stone steps.
Gentle and it goes up that road, so it's just absolutely family home there.
Many of the town's inhabitants.
After all that thirsty work, let's go in for a pint. We'll have a pint of whatever that is, please. That is what I like on this channel, a pub with an atmosphere. If you stepped into a real 1920s pub, the first thing that had hit you was the fug of smoke and stale alcohol. Add to that the sweaty tang of working men fresh out of the shipyard. Oh, nice. And if you were hard up for a bob or two, this is the place you would come. It's like your suit that you only wear to funerals and weddings, and get it back when you get paid. Hello pal, been here long? They would have been really big business back in the day, saddling all those horses that pulled all the cargo around Glasgow before the days of machinery. This would be a thriving business. So back to my stories about the bikes. I said I had a rally chopper. Well, that was when I was a kind of teenager. And when I grew up and got a bit more sensible, I was given a Tour de France. Now, I was told at the time that the only bike that was better than a Tour de France was this, the Flying Scot. And these are various models of it. Did you have a Flying Scot or a Tour de France? Or what kind of bike did you have? I'd love to hear. Let me know in the comments. Oof, I really need to lose weight and gain height. And of course the little gift shop on the way out. I mean, ET is modern to me, but I believe ET came out in 1982. So what's that, 18 and 26? It's 44 years old now. Doctor Who, when was he out? 64? 62, something like that. Any Doctor Who fans can correct me. So that was the Riverside Museum. What did you think about that? You think it's nostalgic enough? It is and it isn't. I mean, I'm so glad it's there. It would be really bad, really horrible if once the Kelvin Hall, you know, closed its doors to the Transport Museum, that they just hid all the stuff away. That would be tragic. So in that way, I'm glad that it's on display. But do you know where I'm coming from when I say it's lost its nostalgia? It just doesn't have the same feel that it does. Did you get that feeling when you were looking around with me? Let me know in the comments. Now don't go away yet, because I'm going to show you somewhere else. That's Nithsdale Place, and this is Leaving Street. Now the reason why I'm here is because I have great memories of this place, as my auntie used to live just down here, round the corner, on a street called Kenmure Street. Look at these gorgeous tenements. Absolutely loads and loads and loads of them. This just brings back memories of me cycling my cousin's bike. I say cousin, we'll explain that in a minute. I think he had a grifter. Do you remember the grifter? I think he had a grifter. I remember at one point we had a three-wheeler bike. No, a big adults one. With pneumatic tyres in it, etc. Now, there's a shop over there. I think it's a barber's now. I can see that it's a barber's, but when I was a little boy, and I say a little boy up till the age of maybe 12, something like that shop, the barber, was a little sweet shop called Brock's. Does anybody remember Brock's? My memories of getting into Brock's was buying a lucky bag. I think it was you could get a 2p lucky bag or a 10p lucky bag. And my aunts lived in one of these flats here. She lived in the top floor. She had the top floor and one of the attic rooms. So I remember her flat having 2 stories. It had stairs inside the flat. The reason I say aunt, cousins, they weren't really my cousins. Any of you that have my age, and you'll know that back in the day when your mum or your dad made friends, and of course we all got together for parties or whatever they had, you were told to call them your aunt and your uncle. So that was my Aunt Anne and my Uncle Jim, but they weren't really. And as a result, the kids were all called my cousins, but they weren't really my cousins. There was 5 of them. And we used to play, this is where I learned to cycle a bike. In fact, is that the street with the school down it? This is Melville Street. I'll go down here. I think this is the very street I learned to go a bike. So I can't remember who was holding onto the back while I was cycling, and I had a bit of confidence knowing I was being held. And then after a little bit of cycling, I looked round a little bit to see if he was still there, and he wasn't. I was cycling on my own. Yes, it was this street, because there's the old school. Obviously I better not film the school too close in case there's kids in. So this is where I learned to go a bike, in Melville Street. Did you grow up here? And I'll show you a couple of things more before we head to our final destination. I remember playing in that park, in the bike, Maxwell Square. It's not a proper park, just like a bit of green space for the kids to play in that live in the flats. I'll take you to this one final place, one final memory. I'll make that 2. 2 final memories. One's a good one, one's a naughty one. And that there's the old Pollock Shields District Library here in Leslie Street. I have a memory of trying to climb round that wall, climb up onto the windowsills, try and get right along the building without touching the ground. And that's my non-naughty one. Look at this plaque on the wall, this stonework. Absolutely beautiful. And my second story, the naughty one, concerns this little convenience store. It used to be called the mini market. That's what we called it. And my cousin, who's not my cousin, he persuaded me to try and steal a bar of chocolate. So the 2 of us went in stealthily, probably standing out a mile, Sneaked a bar of chocolate up her juke, as we called it. That's up your jumper. And as we went to walk out, the outside wrapper slid off. Slid off and fell onto the floor, and the man saw us and chased us. We had to drop the chocolate and run for miles. Oh, yeah, that's what I get for being bad. Crime doesn't pay, kids. Of course, that meant we couldn't go into the shop ever again. How stupid was that? There you go. I just remembered another memory. Way down the bottom there, you used to be able to go into this little shop and buy a bag of scones at the end of the day. It was like 2 pence, tuppence or whatever you called it. And you came home with a big bag of about 25 scones. Can you get any places like that now? There used to be a place called Henry Healy's that done that, but I don't know what the name of that shop was, but that's another memory. Do you have memories of this place? Because I mean, there are loads of houses. Let me know. Anyway, let's continue to our final destination. And here we are, walking along Albert Drive at Pollokshields. And that building you see over there is now called the Tramway. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it's called the Tramway because of its links to the trams that were first displayed here from 1964. This building here housed the original Transport Museum in Glasgow. Is this the one you remember coming to as a kid? With your mum and your dad, or your granny or grandpa? Do you remember stepping foot through these doors back in the day, anywhere between 1964 and 1988? And this building was the Transport Museum of Glasgow. You can see the tall entryways to fit the vehicles back in the day, and it had its original use. Look at all this now, all built up now. The buildings that we knew and loved are rapidly disappearing. Progress, they say. I'm not so sure. Albert Drive, 2026. So, what was your favourite one? Is it the Riverside Museum? Is it the Kelvin Hall where you had your memories? Or is it here in Albert Drive that you had your memories as a kid? Please let me know. I love hearing your stories. I've loved hearing all your memories in the Langside Cafe. It's been absolutely amazing. Keep them coming. And thank you for watching. And I'll see you next week. Bye now.